Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to another episode of Bitcade. Yeah. It's episode 16.
16.
As previously
Sweet 16.
stated.
16.
It is our Sweet 16.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. My name is Ryan. This is...
I'm the David.
I was wondering where you're going with that. I was like, I'm done. Well, hold on. Let me check. Yes, this is Bitcade. It is Primal Target's official video game podcast, because there is no other one, but it's official because we're slapping the stamp on it.
Trademarked.
Yeah. Well, not yet.
No,
Let
some
them know
down the road.
In this episode, we will be talking about Easter eggs.
Mm-hmm.
We will be talking about BioShock, and we'll be talking about some banter, just some regular banter.
Mm-hmm.
So, first topic is your topic.
It's my topic.
And it is Easter eggs. So why don't you explain why are we talking about Easter eggs in May?
So we're talking about Easter eggs in May because a couple weeks ago, Ryan and myself, Ashton from Twitch stream Bitcade, Primal Target member, and a couple of Ryan's friends, we all went and saw Ready Player One.
Yep.
Which was a fun movie. I thought it was fun.
I liked it.
I don't critique movies. I just go off. I've gotten to the point towards movies where if I had fun or if I didn't have fun.
You essentially,
I had fun.
Your rating system is thumbs up, thumbs down.
Basically,
that's
yeah.
it.
I was
it's
like,
either
I had
good
fun.
or bad.
I had fun.
Yeah.
A little predictable, but then again, it's like when you know these things in video games already, it's like you can see where it's going. Although I will say the second key, I was not expecting that, and that was probably my favorite part of the whole movie.
Really, the second key was
when they were when in the Overlook Hotel, that was my favorite part. From The
yeah.
Shining.
Oh yeah, you're right.
That was my favorite part of the whole movie.
Because
I was not expecting that.
my favorite part was probably the car racing scene, and it's
And
like
the very beginning.
Yeah,
because
I was like, holy crap, you could not do this in a book. But
I did appreciate that about the movie is they didn't like do all this story leading up to it. They just you're
Boom.
in,
Yeah.
you're going.
Yeah.
Anyways, back to topic. Easter eggs. A lot of Easter eggs in that movie. I spent pretty much that whole time just being like, do I know that character? There's that character. There's that character. I know that character.
It's all your training. I was talking to Christian about this. It was like, we've been training all of our lives
Yeah.
for this one movie.
Yeah. Who are we going to see? See? And I was a little disappointed. I saw, as you guys know, my three ladies up there, Captain Marvel, Tally, Zora, and Catwoman. I only saw one of them in that movie, and it's not the one you think it would be.
Yeah.
It wasn't Tally. It was Catwoman.
Yeah.
And
she was in there, wasn't she?
She was in the movie for like 2 seconds,
Yeah.
and it was from behind. And so if you didn't know the silhouette, you wouldn't have not known it was her.
Because the thing I've noticed, there was a lot of
background.
There's a lot of Blizzard stuff.
Yes.
Because we got to see what's his face from StarCraft.
Yeah.
We got to see Tracer several times.
Yeah.
A lot of Xbox stuff too. There was like
the team of Spartans.
Yeah. It was and so it's like and we saw the Lancer, the Gears of War Lancer.
Yeah, that got like destroyed immediately. That was a little upsetting.
Yeah. That's what a lot of people are saying. They're like, "Oh, that could have been so cool. Where was that?" And then but no PlayStation properties that I can remember.
Not that I can recall. Not like PlayStation exclusive, like no Uncharted, no
God of War,
yeah.
No nothing like that.
I figured considering they had like movie items as weapons, I figured like his chain blades would probably show up or something.
Were there Nintendo stuff? Was there any Mario?
Not Nintendo specific. Not that I can think of.
Huh.
Everything I saw was from like publishers that do like multi-platform publishing.
Yeah, except for Microsoft did their.
Except for Microsoft, yeah. Except for Halo.
Yeah, and Gears.
Yeah.
It's interesting.
I was expecting to at least see like I was like hoping to at least see like a Mass Effect gun, just something from Mass Effect.
Yeah.
I'm like, come on, where is it? I'm like, no, nothing. But anyways, that got me thinking about Easter eggs in games, which is what we're going to be talking about now. Just some of our favorite Easter eggs that I would say that we have personally come across versus maybe ones that you have seen or heard about.
Okay.
But
are we doing boom boom?
I have a lot.
Okay. How many you got? I got 3.
I have a half a page.
Jeezums. All right. Here, I'll give one, and then you can go on for a little bit, and then I'll jump in again for my third.
How about I start? Can I just start?
Oh, okay. Yeah.
I'll start with the very first one that my friend and I came across with that we were baffled by.
Okay.
And it turns out that even to this day, these this Easter egg has no correlation to the game at all. They're just in there. And this goes back to Twisted Metal 2.
Okay.
On the PlayStation.
Yeah.
In Twisted Metal 2, there are 2 codes that show up in the game, which is a sequence of, triangle, circle, X, and square.
Okay, so code.
Like input commands.
Yeah. Like Konami code type
stuff.
Yeah,
that kind of thing. And one of them is discovered in the New York Tower level where you're fighting on top of like skyscrapers, and if you fall off a certain one at a certain angle and you look down, there's like lights on the road to represent like car lights.
Oh, so they're kind of moving back and forth.
No, they're not even moving.
They're just stationary.
They're just stationary lights. All right. Yeah, but if you go off this one side, there's lights in the pattern of like a circle, a square, a triangle, and an X. I don't remember the exact order, but like they're obvious. The controller buttons in a specific pattern. But they don't do anything.
Huh.
They just don't do anything. And it's the same thing in the level of Paris. There's a hidden room where you can get into an art gallery, and in there is a picture of the Mona Lisa. And if you hit it with like a fire projectile, you'll burn the Mona Lisa, and a code will show up. Another sequence of X's and triangles and whatnot, but it doesn't do anything.
So, do you know why they put it in there?
I have no idea.
Okay, all right.
But I just remember, being...
Comment section below, ladies and gentlemen, if you know what that code was for, then...
I think they've confirmed, like,
it doesn't mean anything?
It doesn't mean,
it
doesn't mean anything. It doesn't do anything in the game.
Oh, all right.
But I just remember back then, internet wasn't a thing.
Yeah.
So like we're going like every level, every section, every menu screen, every character.
Maybe it was
just trying these codes. And
maybe it was the Twisted Metal guys trolling the first ever trolls.
We're pretty sure that they're just troll codes.
Yeah.
But I remember just spending hours trying to figure out what do these do, what are these unlocked with a friend of mine, and that for me was the first time where I had ever been involved in it wasn't even really called an Easter egg at the time. It was considered like a cheat code, but nobody knew what to do with it.
Yeah. And
so it was very baffling. And it kind of sucked, to be honest, because it's just like, what,
you're trying to replay
what do you do, and we're spending like days, like our days off from school, Saturday and Sunday, just trying to figure this out, because we played a lot of Twisted Metal. We loved Twisted Metal. Yeah. We also liked that we were big Rob Zombie fans, and his car from the Dracula music video is in like Twisted Metal 3. You can play it as a play. I think it's Twisted Metal 3. It's a playable vehicle. Yeah, we always like that.
You'll be coming soon.
But yeah, that's just one that I can think of just instantly. That's the first one I can think of where it's just like had like any sort of impact on my gaming history, my gaming memory, is those 2 codes, and just like, what do they do? Nothing at all.
Okay.
But it's just I find that interesting that they would just do that, something like that to their players.
It's cool that it added a sense of replayability on its own.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh, they're just gonna keep playing our game because we have this fake code in here. So yeah, it's kind of funny.
Yeah. Good game though, by the way. If you've never played it, it probably will feel really dated if you try it now, but back then, man, that was my jam.
So how many of those do you have total, or do you just have them kind of written down?
They're just kind of written down in a mess. I can shoot through a bunch of them real quick.
Okay.
But
yeah, because I was like, maybe I could sprinkle mine in there and not necessarily like take over the topic. So if you have like 5, I can like you can give another one and I'll do one.
I can keep going if you just want me to do a couple and then you want to pop in.
Yeah, you do one more and I'll do mine and then we'll come back to you.
All right, so I'm going to switch over now to a different game. I have 2 Easter eggs for this particular series that we'll talk about, and it is The Witcher.
Okay.
Specifically Witcher 2.
Which is what we did see some sort of thing.
It actually is that specific one.
Oh, okay.
If in The Witcher 2, near the beginning of the game, I think it's in like the second act or something like that. You're in this like big battle scene in this castle that has like sort of like a small city kind of around it. And when you're exploring the city, if you go off in this corner, there is a broken haystack or a cart of hay, and lying there dead is an obviously white-hooded, white-robed guy. And it's funny because Geralt, as he walks up and goes, guess they'll never learn, And I saw that, and I just was like, oh, that's such a good rip at Assassin's Creed.
They're not they're not even close of related, right? It's just CD Projekt Red and the other crew. So
they don't mention anything about assassins or anything like that. It's just a guy in a white hooded robe.
Yeah.
Face down in the road.
That's kind of funny though that they crossed over those brands, even though because normally you see like companies that make a joke based on their other property, like when Ubisoft is usually making fun of Ubisoft or that kind of stuff. But CD Projekt Red making fun of Ubisoft is a funny thing.
Yeah, so. And that one I remember when I came across that first time, it made me laugh pretty
Witcher
good.
2 confirms that they're in the same universe.
And then another one from the Witcher series is from The Witcher 3, and it's actually a quest. And it took me totally by surprise. And you come across a troll. Okay, you come across a troll, and trolls talk they speak
dumb,
yeah, very primitive. But this troll thinks he's the best singer there ever is, and you'll never guess what kind of a song he sings.
Opera.
No.
What?
Oh,
he actually sings the song?
He sings something similar to it.
Oh my god.
And it's a troll basically singing the Trollolol song.
Yeah.
And your whole quest is to help him become like the merriest singer of all time. Wow. And it's so it's so good. It's so like just ridiculous.
That sounds ridiculous.
He's just like, I good singer. And if you can find that quest, it's really short, but man, that one left a nice impression on me because it just made me laugh.
Funny. Yeah. Well, segue out of that. I actually didn't write this one out, so I guess I'll have 4.
Yeah.
So, there was a mission in Red Dead Redemption that was a joke on the San Andreas, like fake Easter egg that everyone thought that if you go in the woods that you would find Sasquatch, but you never did. He's never in the game. But in Red Dead Redemption, they did a callback to that, where in Undead Nightmares, the DLC, you do a mission that you actually see Sasquatch, because the whole thing about Undead Nightmare is mythical creatures and zombies and blah, blah, blah. So you go and you see this guy that's telling you to like go and kill all of these Sasquatch, right? Or no. How is that?
I don't remember either.
Is it in Red Dead that they do that?
I'm pretty sure it's actually GTA 5.
I know. That's what I'm saying.
It is in GTA 5.
No, in GTA 5 you find the one that survives.
Right. But there is a Bigfoot in Red Dead though.
Yes.
There is.
Yes.
So
what is that? Now I'm remembering this wrong.
Yeah. I don't remember the premise of it either.
Okay, in general, one of the games, I believe it's Red Dead, where you have to go. Yeah, you go and kill all the Sasquatch, and then there's a last one where then he will say, "You've killed all of my family and blah blah blah. Kill me."
Yeah,
and you can either be an asshole and not kill him, or you can kill him. Yeah. Okay, so that's Red Dead. Yeah. So the Red Dead mission is the killing all the Sasquatch, and then it fast forward to GTA 5.
Yep, you got it now. Yeah,
yeah. Then you can go and see this guy that's like. There's a mission where a guy's dressed up as Sasquatch, and then there's like I think another mission where you actually do have a Sasquatch in the game,
and it's like the same sort of dilemma.
Yeah,
as the
and
first
it's
one,
it is as if that Sasquatch survived the whole time. I don't know. Maybe I'm remembering the GTA 5 thing wrong, but I remember the Sasquatch mission being really funny because you're like. The way that the mission is given to you is there are a menace. They need to go die, and you need to go do it. And so you're like, okay, I'll do that. Yeah. And then you're running around killing all these Sasquatch, and then the final one, you're like, whoa, wait a minute.
Yeah, you've been killing all of my family.
Yeah. So that was kind of an Easter egg thing because you have to go and find it, and then you got to go and do it, and then it's a callback to
San Andreas,
an original, Rockstar game.
Yeah. Funny you mentioned Rockstar.
This side.
Oh, sorry, Rockstar, and in the GTA series, because one of my Easter eggs I have on my list here is the abundance of like I have it written down as there's nothing here signs in the Grand Theft Auto games. Oh yes,
there's one in.
They're all kind of
in Vice City.
There's one in Vice City. There's one in 3. Mm-hmm. They're kind of there's one on top of a bridge in San Andreas that you can get there with a jetpack. Mm-hmm. They scatter them kind of. They're just kind of everywhere. Where if you jump your way over or you get back into this area, there's just this sign that just trolls you for getting there.
Don't they actually have an actual Easter egg though? An actual Easter egg?
I think in
one of them they do. Because what's the one where you jump through the building and it's it looks like a building, but when you jump through it, it's actually phases out and then you're in a room. There's one like that. Remember. Okay, there's one like that, and then you see it's an Easter egg. That's the joke is you found an Easter egg. So
I don't remember that.
Yeah, I think it's in San Andreas. No. In Vice City. I think it might be Vice City. Oh, okay. Maybe.
But that was actually one on my list is all of the there's nothing here or the trolling messages in all the Grand Theft Auto games that you can come across just by going in areas that you're not supposed to, yeah. But they're not gonna invisible wall you out of, Mm-hmm. Like a lot of games, invisible walls drive me nuts. Just let me fall off the map or something, yeah. Than hit invisible walls. But
flat Earth confirmed.
Yeah. But yeah.
I'll let you tell me when you want me to do another one.
Oh, well, I've only got one game left.
Okay, I got a few. So here, yeah. I'll give you 2, and then I'll save my last one. And they're kind of short. So obviously we're going back to some Xbox stuff because we're predominantly Xbox players. So my thing is when this is a shout out to the Rooster Teeth crew, mm-hmm. Was in Halo 3, you got to hear Simmons and you got to hear what else? There was all the red versus blue guys, and depending on whichever difficulty you were on, you got to hear different dialogue banter. I thought that was really cool because it was the first. I think that was probably the first Easter egg I heard about, mm-hmm. and I did.
You're I gotta go do this.
Yeah, because my friend was like, "Oh yeah, you hear that the red versus blue guys are on there," and I'm like, "What?" And so I went back and played Halo 3, and to that first, I think it's the first 2 levels, you can do it. But instead of going right, if you go left or if you go backwards or whatever it is. And you go around this whole corner, you'll see a guy knocking on the door, and he's like, "Hey, let me in," blah blah blah. And then on the other end, you will hear a character from Red vs. Blue saying, "No, let you in," blah blah blah, and all this. And I think if I remember, I might be remembering it correctly too. It's been a long time. That it alternated the red team and the blue team. So I think you did hear Church. I think I remember hearing Church, but I honestly could be remembering wrong. And then another short one was Gears of War 3. This was another Easter egg one of the first Easter eggs that I actually did because I was like, oh, I didn't. In Gears of War 3, there were pipes that you could shoot. I think this was maybe a quarter of the way through, maybe
very early in the game.
And if you shoot all the pipes in a certain order or whatever, a chicken will pop out. And then if you shoot the chicken a number of times, it grows into this giant golden chicken, and then it breathes fire, and it just kills you instantly. And it's the most ridiculous thing because you'll see these manly men shooting a chicken, and then all of a sudden this giant thing comes out and then just obliterates them all. And you're like, oh, well, all right. That's how that works out. But that was one of my favorite Easter eggs. It probably still is one of my favorite Easter eggs, just because it was so wacky that Epic put it in there. Mm-hmm. And I don't know, I really like it.
It's a very Legends of Zelda.
Yeah, it is a callback to that. So,
you mess with the chickens, you get the coop.
Yeah, exactly. Or you get something else.
You get something else, yeah. You mentioning the red versus blue team, I actually have on my list here. I don't know if you're familiar with this game, with this YouTube channel, but Neebs Gaming, which is one of my favorites.
Those are the guys that do the Battlefield stuff, right?
They used to do.
But I remember as a Battlefield guy.
They used to do Battlefield Friends and on all that. Well, because of those, and because of their videos that they do, they have some parts, some dialogue parts in Battlefield Frontline. Is that what it was called?
Yeah. A hardline.
Hardline, yeah, Battlefield Hardline.
We don't want another blue hole incident.
They if you go up into like and there's like a park and there's like a community like bathroom there, and if you go up to one of the stalls and you knock on the stalls enough times, you'll get Neebs is in the stall and he'll start yelling back at you.
That's pretty funny.
They also have voice work in Subnautica for their Subnautica series that they did.
Wow, they've already gotten into that, huh?
Mm-hmm. Right. Yeah, and it's just fun to hear them in those games because they're ridiculous.
Yeah, I know there's a lot of other like famous people and YouTubers that have been in other games, but I know that it's
not
just
something
cool
that's not that's not uncommon.
Yeah,
so.
It's always cool though to hear people that are doing that as their content like in those games though, because that means like it's canon, and that was Microsoft essentially and Bungie confirming Red versus Blue is canon.
Yeah,
and so
it's also the thing is with Battlefield 4. When they launched Battlefield 4, right, one of their advertisements that they did is they had the Neebs crew do a cartoon for them. And at the end of the video, the character Neebs, who's the noob character, is running onto the beach after getting off the boat, and he's shouting about, let's go get the Megalodon, let's go get the Megalodon, guys. And there's so everybody for the longest time was thinking that, because DICE in their games will do these weird, intricate Easter eggs.
Yeah, in Battlefield 1, you can, if you throw a grenade in this other place, in this specific place, a land shark will pop up, and I think that's the Megalodon.
That's, you can thank the Neebs crew for introducing that Megalodon sort of theme. Yeah, because the Megalodon was not an Easter egg in any of the Battlefield games.
So why did they say it?
Because they're being silly. No, they're just being funny.
Oh, okay.
And so later on, as the game was out, in one of the patches on that same map that the cartoon was animated in, they added in this super intricate thing where you shoot these birds from this tree from across the map, and these lights pop up, and then a Megalodon will just jump out of the water and crash. And they added this in a year or so after the game came out, just because everybody was just looking for this Megalodon. Because it's well, if they're talking about Megalodons, it's got to be somewhere in there.
Yeah.
But I give props to DICE for actually going in and implementing that into the game, because it's just it just pleases the community. It's oh, you guys want a Megalodon? All right, it's in there. Go find it.
Yeah.
You know. But it's nice to see that they have that some content creators can have some influence in the games like that. But
and then that means that the companies are listening too.
Yeah,
they're listening communities, which is awesome.
But because they have it's just nice to see that they incorporate that kind of stuff.
So you want to do your last one? Or you want me to do?
No, go ahead, because my last one might be a little bit.
Okay. So the last one is another these. So every one of these, except obviously the Red Dead one, was something I tried as a kid. With all I heard was how to do it, but I never got to see what it was. So when I tried it all, and then I got it, I was like, "What is this?" So Black Ops had an Easter egg where if you were strapped into a chair in the main title scene, but if unknowing. If you hit the triggers, your guy will go like this, depending on which arm. So if you do the left trigger, you'll move like this. And if the right trigger, you do this. If you do it enough times, you'll eventually break out of them. And then you can get up and walk around. But for some weird reason, you could walk around to this terminal thing, this little computer terminal, and you can type whatever a code into it and then have some sort of thing going on with it. If you typed in... I think it's Dead Ops. I can't remember the Dead Ops specific one. Maybe it is just Dead Ops or something like that. But if you type that into the terminal, you unlock Dead Ops Arcade, which was the first game of Dead Ops Arcade, and now has returned in every Black Ops game. And it was a top-down shooter, and you're like, what is this? This is crazy. But it's awesome. That they put this whole secret game that you could honestly have played by, let's say the internet didn't exist. You could have played Black Ops all the way through, and then you could
play it multiple times.
Yeah, and then just return it after a couple years, and then eventually find out that there's this whole secret game that was in the game the whole entire time. And then there was another game called Zork, I guess. I didn't know how to play this game just because at the time I didn't care to. It's kind of like a DOS type of game. And I didn't play this one, but I do know that there were 2 games, and you got 2 achievements for it if you did both codes. So, but yeah, that was a really cool thing because it was like so unexpected. Of like, wait, what? They have 4 game modes in because you have Dead Ops, I guess, including. So yeah, you'd have the main game, multiplayer, zombies, and then these 2 weird off-brand games. I mean, not off-brand, but I mean, sorta. But yeah, it's weird.
Just
it's
in there,
cool.
just jammed in there.
Yeah, and you could play up to like 4 people on the
really
arcade. Yeah, because it was just top down, and then everyone would
was
be
it
like,
local?
It was twin stick shooter.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Was it like local or could you do multiplayer?
I think you could do multiplayer. I mean
online multiplayer.
Yeah. I think I played it with Christian. So, yeah. Neat. But yeah, that was a really cool thing, and ever since then they've kind of implemented that into every game afterwards. They just keep putting this stuff in there because now cool. There's like Black Ops 2 had the Atari sign where you could like change on Nuketown 20 whatever, you can change the sign to play Atari games and like old Atari, like Pitfall, depending on whatever you put in there. So yeah,
you mean old Activision games?
Yes, I guess that would be that. Yeah, but they were on the Atari.
Yeah.
But yes.
Cool.
But that's my last one.
All right. So my last game that I'm going with has a lot of Easter eggs. However, I've narrowed it down to just a couple of my favorites from it.
No particular order.
No particular order.
Okay.
I don't have like this is my favorite and all that. Okay. It's Borderlands 2.
As one, yes, the Borderlands
2 has Easter eggs left and right. Just a few like quick mentions for me was finding Double Rainbow.
That was a thing, yeah.
Double Rainbow's in there. Having Minecraft.
The creepers.
The creepers, and you can get the Minecraft heads.
I didn't know that. Yeah.
If the creepers have had a chance to drop a head skin that was a Minecraft version of the characters, it was just like a brick. It was like a square head, and it would be all pixelated Minecraft-like for the character. You could also get like a skin too, but it wasn't. The skin wasn't blocky. It was just like a.
It looked.
It was just like a pattern. Yeah.
Yeah.
That was interesting because like they acted like creepers. Like they would come at you and try and blow you up, and they would come at you in waves, like 3 of them, or like 1 would come at you, and then 2 would come at you, and then like 3 of them, and then a big one would come at you. I'll probably have to say my second favorite if I was gonna order them is a Dark Souls bonfire.
Yeah, this is
like
it seems like it hits a little home here.
It's way out there. Like if you're not like leveled enough, or if you don't have the gear, you won't be able to find it because you have to go against. You have to run through like this toxic water that like will kill you over time.
Woo.
So unless you don't have like,
I thought something was falling. That's why I was like, "Whoa, what happened?"
All right, I'll help you out.
For the audio listeners,
yeah,
there's a cat now involved in the scenario.
You had to go through like this toxic water to get to it. So if you didn't have the health or the shielding to get there, you wouldn't make it. But like there's a bonfire that you can light, and there's like how in the Souls games, I forget what they call them. There's a term for it, but you can see like the outlines of players. There's one like sitting there by the bonfire. I think it's supposed to be somebody, but I can't think of his name. I can picture him, but I can't think of his name. But probably my favorite is the main character for the 3rd DLC. I can't remember what it's called. He's like the mayor of the town. Mm-hmm. He's just straight up Macho Man Randy Savage.
Nice. And that's the Is that the DLC for the Macho Man thing?
Yeah. It was the 3rd DLC.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
And I loved every minute of that. That character was so good. He's just so over the top.
Did they make him
explosion?
Okay, they did.
Yeah. No. Like, it was so good. Yeah. That was probably my favorite DLC in Borderlands 2. Was that particular one, just because the atmosphere and that the main, I guess, antagonist, I guess you would say, the mayor of the town. basically it was literally just a Borderlands version of Macho Man Randy Savage.
So they did kind of a, what do they call that? Idiocracy or Idiocracy? You know that movie?
I have no idea.
Where he like goes to the future and like, you know,
Macho Man?
No.
I'm like, Macho Man's in the movie?
The main character goes to the future, and then like the president of the United States is like a professional wrestler.
No.
And it's like all ran by this sort of idea of like I don't know, it's really stupid. Like junk food and like the only, I don't know, it's weird. You have to go watch it. I think it's available somewhere on streaming services. It's a funny sort of movie, but it's stupid as hell. It has like Dax Shepard's in it, but he's not the main character. He's like a buddy of the guy. Anyway.
But yeah, that whole DLC, because I didn't like all of the DLC. So some of the DLC in Borderlands 2 wasn't that great. Some of it was just like huge empty, land masses. But that one was really good. Mm-hmm. And I can't remember what it's called off the top of my head. But that character made it for me. Because he was literally just Macho Man, as crazy as Macho Man is.
He
looks like him, sounds like him, talks like him. He's just, do you need explosions? Here's some explosions, Whoa-wee, It's so good. I guess also the D&D one was good too. There was the last one. That was a good one too. Tiny Tina's Dungeon Adventure or whatever. That was a good one too. But yeah, that I love the fact, because I grew up watching wrestling when Macho Man was wrestling. So
gotta get back into it, man.
I just don't
It hasn't gone anywhere. It's gotten better. Ronda Rousey's now a part of it.
I saw that.
She's not actually that bad.
I saw like a clip of her slamming Triple H.
Yeah, that happened a few times at WrestleMania. She picked him up a lot. I was like, oh god, what's happening?
But yeah. Yeah, I'm actually kind of excited. I'm excited to jump back into Borderlands if they ever make another one.